to talk about data management and specifically adding a data source, which is a database. So we choose that from the drop down menu on the left. So I'll give this a name. Scope will be private, meaning that you alone are able to see it. Give it a base URI. And we select a connection. In this case, we're going to connect to the classic cars. And we're not going to assign it to somebody else, we're going to keep it for ourselves. Now the two ways we can see immediately using the graphic interface that the tool has gone away to the schema for that database and is already displaying the tables that are available. Before we go into that, I just want to show there is another way that we can get that information, and that is by writing an SQL select statement. And we can see with that sort of format, syntax, that it is in fact valid. But SQL is not what I want to talk about today, so we'll go back to the GUI. So you can see these are all the tables that are available from that relational database. If we select on that tables, select all, click there, we can see down the left hand side we have all the tables that were in that schema. And for the last one, and simply because it is the last one, in the products table, we can see these are the names of the columns and what's the primary key and the foreign key. And we can select or deselect various components of this, or we can select various tables that we do or do not want involved. But in this case, we'll choose them all. And then we go and say we want to save that model and refine it. And we can see down the left hand side again, these are the various concepts which are going to appear in our putative ontology, and also will be the triples that we're going to create. I'll just show you a couple of other effective things we can do. We could add a comment to the name and say name of city, which is not terribly informative, but it's just demonstrating. And we can see now that we have this comment is available to us here, and also there's a little icon up here to tell us that there is a comment associated with that particular column. We can also put a label on, which is very similar to a comment. So it appears here, and again we now have over on the left hand side an additional icon. We can also do an equivalent, and we can say that name have an equivalent with an entry in another ontology. So let's choose this one here, and which property do we want? We want to say, shall we say address, and we apply that, and we can see now that we've got another little icon here, and that we have some information here which tells us that the name in the inter-01 ontology is equivalent to intermediaries.csv address in this other ontology. So the other things we can do here is we can add to this putative ontology that we're about to create, and we can add a new class which we'll call class 1, and then we apply that, and we can see there's been added. And also right down at the bottom of the pile here somewhere, can see that it has appeared. And if we want to, we can add a subclass to that too. We apply that. We can see from our green label up here that it's been successful. And lo and behold, down there is our subclass. So, and there are a range of other facilities here that I won't go into at this time that you can use to enhance your ontology. So once we've done that, we want to apply these changes, and we've now added a data source. And the only other thing we need to do, the next thing we need to do, in fact, is to load that data from the relational database source into the triple store. And if we click on this button here, we can see that it's saying it started, and there's the little display showing you how much progress has been made. So as we've seen elsewhere, we can download that as a template file, or the putative ontology. We can edit the rules, and I won't go into the rules here. They're swirl or Jenna, and you can do those things if you choose. So just to show what we just loaded, I'm just going to do a count on that ontology. So if we do a query on sorry, I loaded the wrong one. So if we do a load here on this data source, we can see that that's finished. We're now going to do a query against that. And I'm just going to do a count. We run that. And we can see we loaded 57,595 triples in a matter of a few seconds. So that's the process of adding a data source from a relational database. Thank you.